We're back for another tutorial, and today I have for you a new haircut that I haven't showed to you before. This medium length haircut has a couple of key features that I just want to explain before we get started. The top is stylable to a point where it can have volume, almost like a pompadour, and the sides are just long enough still without any type of fade at all, from the sides all the way to the back. Now the length on the sides is actually a little bit longer. This is going to be a disconnected hairstyle, meaning that the sides are actually going to be longer than the top. What this is going to do is going to allow me to create movement throughout the hair. So this hairstyle is versatile in the sense that it can be worn down or it can be worn up. It can be blow dried, or it could just be left towel dried or air dried, and it'll still look good. And other than that, in the back area, we're gonna keep it clean enough, not for it to be overhanging to look like any type of mullet, but it's actually gonna be just about ½ an inch below the nape of the neck, in a square shape to give it that classic professional look. So now, before I get started with the actual haircut, I wanna do it a little bit differently this time, and I wanna show you guys my step-by-step before I even get into it. All right, so here we have my first diagram, and what I want to explain is basically my very first step. So the current length we were working with right now is right here, and from the sides you're also going to see that it is pretty consistent, but at this long length, so the hair is about hanging in this area as well. The first step is going to be setting my length from the bottom with the hair laying down naturally. So I actually just want to get slightly below the nape line here. So if you want to see a visual of where the hairline is, you want to direct it a little bit lower than that, ever so slightly. Aside from that, same thing on the sides. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the hair and keep it at this level here on both sides so that it's still a symmetrical hairstyle. And for the most part, you'll notice that these symmetrical hairstyles are going to add towards the versatility of the haircut. Now, once I've set my length all the way through, what I want to do is I want to section out the side panels, the back panels from the top. The reason I'm going to do this is because if you remember what I said in the beginning, this is going to be a disconnected look, meaning that the length all over the head is not going to be the same length. It's not going to connect all the way through. So the top is actually going to be shorter than the sides. In order to achieve this, what I need to do is make sure I know where I'm working at all times. So I'm going to set my boundaries. All I'm going to do is I'm going to make a section with my comb on both sides, just above the parietal ridge. And as well as the back, I want to make sure that this connects to make this horseshoe or U-shaped section. If you go to our left side diagram, this is how it's going to look from the side. Same on the other side. And as well as the back will end up looking a little something like this. And now that I have this in place, what you're gonna see me do is I'm gonna work in a technique that's called cross graduation. And all we're gonna do for this, I'm gonna be working in diagonal back sections. When we work with diagonal back sections, that basically means that our intention is to take the hair backwards when we style it. How I'm gonna start is going to be at the temple point. So you're gonna see me take constant diagonal back sections all the way through, and my end point, if we look at the diagram on the right, is actually going to be one corner to the next corner. Now, when I'm going the other way, I want to make sure that all the lines are parallel and at the same angle and the same amount of sections, okay? And notice what that leaves me is this area right here. Now, this area will be untouched, and we're going to attack this area slightly differently. What I need you to do is visually understand, after I'm done doing my cross graduation diagonals, I'm going to be working in this area here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to create a center profile right down the middle, only within this section. And then from that point, I'm going to pivot diagonally until I get rid of all this hair. And what I want to let you know is that we are not over directing. We're working right over top of the base of all these sections. So when you see me do this later on, I'm also going to be pulling this outwards at this angle here. So from the side, if you go back to the left diagram, the hair currently is at this angle here. This is more triangular. What I'm trying to achieve now with this cross graduation is more of a square look. But as we get into this triangle section, what you're gonna see me do is actually get from this area here, I'm gonna gather the hair at a more of a round angle. So it's gonna end up being pulled out to this type of angle here, and you'll notice me do that in the video. Now that we've completed the sides, what I wanna do is show you exactly how I'm gonna be working through the top. So all we're doing is we're working with the top panel here. What you're gonna see me do is take a center profile guideline down the middle of the top. All I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna try to make a square shape from the side. I'm gonna pull the hair up at a 90-degree angle. Keep in mind, this needs to be done with precision because this is going to be your guide for the rest of the top. From there, once I have my guide set, all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna split this middle part directly down the middle. So I have a piece of it for the left side and a piece of it for the right side. And what I wanna do is create horizontal sections on both sides horizontally. Try to be with the width of the comb as much as possible because this is gonna stop you from over directing where you don't want to over direct until you run out of hair at the front. So I'm gonna be working on this side first and then this side second, okay? And that's what you're gonna see me do to attack the top. So now guys, we're gonna get started on the video. What I want you to pay attention to are certain points of detail. Notice, try to figure out what side I'm standing on, whether I'm standing on the side of the client or behind the client or in front of the client. That's very important. And as well as if you can't see it, just know that most of the time I'm working my section right in front of my chest, which is gonna allow me not to have to bend left and right, front or back. It's gonna keep me as postured up as possible to allow me to not only work long hours, but also make sure I'm as precise as possible as I'm going through this hairstyle. Just a quick note for everyone who's watching, all I'm gonna be using for this hairstyle is gonna be about 6 tools total. I have a comb, I have a spray bottle, I have scissors, I also have hair clips, and I'm going to be also using a thinning razor, and lastly just a brush and hair dryer combo finished with some product. If you haven't seen any of my previous videos, I do recommend that you go take a look at the video called How to Section Like a Pro. This will definitely help you with your sectioning, and it'll set you up for a lot of my future videos as well as this video right here. As I previously said, all I'm doing for this first step is I'm just evening out the hair to the desired length. So you notice that I'm grabbing hair with minimal tension just to control it enough and not over direct it. But I do want to make sure that this line is as straight as possible. So you're going to see me go in a couple times and doing a check on both sides to make sure. As I pull the hair out, you can see the current shape is really strong and triangular. So a lot of weight building up to the bottom. All we're going to be doing is we're going to be layering that. Starting on the side of the head, this is where I start to begin my cross graduation right over top of the sideburn area there. And all I'm doing is as I'm working in each section, I'm using the guide on the left side and the reason why the guide's going to be on the left side for here is because that is where the short length that I set the length at is going to be. So I want to make sure that I keep an eye on that guide, and I don't want to make the hair much longer. All I want to do is actually just layer this. I don't want to keep it much longer. And notice how I'm staying parallel to my section. So my section line is diagonal, and I'm also cutting the hair at a diagonal as well. We're going to repeat this process to the other side. And now since we're on the other side, our guide is going to be on the right. That stationary guide that we created when we set the length is going to be on the right side, and I'm going to work it all the way until the bottom right corner. Now that we've done our cross graduation, I need to section out this triangle area because we did not hit this. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to connect the 2 corners in the back of the horseshoe section to a point right down the middle. So this is the area I'm going to be working in. I visually wanted to check to make sure that that's the hair that was left. And you can see that hair is hanging all the way near the nape of the neck. We got to make sure we layer that as well, or we're going to have some really heavy weight where we don't want it. notice the tension, notice the angle. Now I'm going to be pivoting over with the same cutting angle, but I'm also going to be making sure that I'm aware of my section width, which is going to be the width of the comb throughout the whole hairstyle. So now you can quickly see that the back is ending up a little bit more square, meaning that it's layered, it's softer. The hair at the back there isn't going all the way to the nape of the neck anymore. So let's get going on the top. I'm going to take a little strand from the back just to make sure that the front does connect with the back and I'm not making it too short. So I actually use that as my guide in order to start this square shape vertically. I'm going to be pulling it straight up from back to front, and keep in mind that I'm only cutting between my last two knuckles. So from my palm, the first knuckle is not going to give me tension. So notice as I go through all of these sections, now I'm working horizontally on the left side here, right side if you're the client, but notice how I'm only working between those two knuckles on the end. My guide is coming from the middle. Keep in mind that I made my center profile guide. So if you want to know where your guide is, go back a couple of steps and remember what you've already cut, and most likely that's where your guide is going to be. And what I want to mention is a very important tip. I want to let you guys know how important it is to see a guide before you cut. The chances are if you don't see a guide, then your section might be too wide. And if you don't see this guide, you're really risking changing the lengths or changing the shapes of this hairstyle and creating something totally new, which you might have to go back and work and take more time to fix. So just make sure you see a guide before you make the cut. I quickly just blow dried the hair, and I did it naturally. I'm gonna do a lot of detail work here. You're gonna see me do techniques like point cutting, slide cutting, channel cutting, and you're also gonna see me do some cross-checking. And all I'm doing is I'm getting texture into the hair in order for it to fall the way I want it to, or elevate the way I want it to and give it volume in certain areas with a little bit of customization around the nape area just behind the ear. And you're gonna see how this styles up in a couple of minutes here. I'm gonna grab my Balance pomade and clay combination, and I'm only gonna be using the clay side because I want this to be as natural as possible. And the reason I put on the back of my hand is because I wanna make sure I don't gunk it all on at once. I'm gonna layer this bit by bit. And if you notice, I'm styling this from the back first. Now with hairstyles that style to the back, I like to make sure that I start in the back so that I don't risk gunking all of the hair in front without being able to evenly distribute the product into the other parts of the hair. So this hairstyle for me, I think it can be done in a very basic way. It can also be taken to the next level with a certain amount of detail and knowledge in how to make the haircut have that wow factor and take it to the next level. And that's all in the detail phase. So if you are just starting out and you want to take away from this video, I recommend you really just practice those sections and making sure that you are even all the way through, and as well as your guides are lining up before you make that cut. I'm really staying sane just by doing these tutorials for you guys on this mannequin. I do have a little bit of a discouragement on using my clippers on a mannequin because I don't think it shows up as well. But I hope you guys are enjoying it. Let me know in the comment box down below. You guys fuel the channel, so make sure you let me know what's up. Say hello. I'm also going to be doing a lot more tutorials in the future, so let me know how I'm doing. Let me know what you want to see, and I hope you like this final product that I have ready for you right here.